Okay. Very good. Good evening. Thank you for your patience. We had a short meeting prior to this Village Board Committee meeting. Today is November 20th, 2017. We'll call this meeting in order at 7:34 p.m. And Clerk, can you please take the roll?
Yes. Trustee McGrill?
Here.
Trustee Dalzell?
Here.
Trustee Pierce?
Here.
Trustee Zielinski?
Here.
Trustee Juarez?
Here.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Here.
Mayor Ryan?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. Please join us for a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll start with our officers' report, starting with myself this evening. A couple of quick notes. I did speak the other day with Mike Frater, our Public Work Director, and Mike's informed me that the CSX railroad tracks on Costner are going to be closed, Mike, approximately 2 weeks for repair, so that's in motion right now. The holiday banners going across Pulaski were put up last week, and the banners on the light poles are going up right now as well, too. The light decorations. Okay, and then I spoke with, by the way, Board, Roger Early was excused from the meeting this evening. He had a situation at home he had to take care of. So he sent me a note a few minutes ago. But today Roger and my assistant Erica were out actually dressing up a lot of the welcome to Alsip signs and whatnot, and the place looks great. Getting ready for the holiday weekend. Roger, he's not here, I'm sorry, but his crew did a great job today, too. With all the decorations, they put all this up today, so we're getting ready for the holiday season. This evening, number one on your agendas was the recognition of Carol Jagist, who's retiring from the Mount Greenwood Express newspaper. After reporting on behalf of Alsip's village, its park district, its library, our churches and schools, businesses, and special interest groups, Carol's been reporting on our village for over 40 years, and she's going to be retiring at the end of this month, right, Carol? I'd say, and I asked her boss, I asked Tom Gavin to come this evening and cover instead of giving Carol the night off and stuff. So Tom's a wonderful guy. Tom is the editor of the Mount Greenwood Express, and Tom, you own the Southwest Messenger newspaper then too at the same time. I appreciate you being here this evening, Tom. Carol, what I did was, sometimes I've seen like proclamations that look just so generic and so forth sometimes, and I think doesn't always express. It's hard to jam a lot onto one piece of paper too, but it's hard to express how much effort you put into representing our community. It means a lot to us. And I was really, when I told a lot of people about your retirement, they didn't know. I guess you didn't share the news with everybody. I found out a couple weeks ago when you and I were talking, but maybe last month, I was at the Oak Lawn Village Hall with the police and fire chiefs on our 911 consolidation. You were there reporting, and actually they give you a desk like this in the front row, unlike us, so we make you sit back there and stuff then too, So obviously you must really pull rank with those guys and stuff, and I went out with the Mayor Burry, and they think the world of you over there in Oak Lawn yet too. And I spoke with the membership from the administration from Worth Township. They said thank you as well for representing them. And what I put on here was Carol Jagist. Am I pronouncing this right, Carol? Okay. Carol, is that the Lithuanian? Croatian. There you go. Carol Jagist, journalist for the Southwest Messenger newspapers and valued source of information to the Village of Alsip residents for over 40 years. The Village of Alsip has almost always been featured on the front page of the Mount Greenwood Express newspaper for its village board meeting report. Carol also featured her own column known as All Around Alsip, which always started by identifying with part of her personal life. This included her dog Aries and family members, as well as her inspirational take on the seasons and life as it happened. Everyone has enjoyed reading the announcements of popular community events on behalf of the Alsip Marionette Park Library, sponsoring their annual food drive. are hosting an author to speak about the relationship between John F. Kennedy and the Windy City, not to mention a solar eclipse party. Her reports on road closures within the village due to railroad and bridge repairs reduced the number of calls to the Village Hall and Public Works. Carol has made everyone aware of goodwill gestures, such as a blood drive at St. Terrence, or a monthly free community meals being offered and food pantries available on a first-come basis every Saturday at Holy Cross Lutheran Church. Carol Jaggis promoted safety programs offered by the Alsip Fire Department that helped keep kids safe, with instructional classes on babysitting, CPR, and even children's car seat installations. The Alsip Police Department was recognized for their efforts to promote crime-free housing, eliminate pirates who were booting unsuspecting drivers' cars, or promoting the annual National Night Out, which allows interaction between the residents and all village services and local businesses. Her column never overlooked the Alsip Park District having a Monster Mash Bingo Bash, or every parent's favorite holiday when the Park District hosts Teen Lock-In, like INN, for 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, plus entertainment at Fountain Hills Golf Course. The Worth Township has been mentioned many a times for their youth programs, plus their toy, coat, and food drives, and their laser light party in support of Alsip's Holiday on Pulaski. Carol's column also included a quote of the week, like the one by James Dent, which read, "A perfect summer day is when the sun is shining, the breeze is blowing, the birds are singing, and the lawnmower is broken." Always like that one, kind of stuck for me anyway. That was a few months ago. Last part of this, and it's intended for humor, Carol, okay? So I just put on here that the Village of Alsip will always remember Carol Jaggis for over 40 years of reporting, where many of the board members would chuckle when seeing their names on the front page of the newspaper, sometimes spelt wrong, or a report of a meeting that seemed contrary to the board's version. But in all fairness, one's description may be a result of where one may have been sitting in the room. Regardless if anyone agrees, that's the reporter's interpretation. Most importantly, without media presence, the public cannot appreciate the efforts and dedication of all functions related to the Village of Alsip. We can never thank Carol and the Southwest Messenger newspapers enough for attending approximately 1,040 great board meetings over 40 years, other than to simply say, Carol Jaggis, thank you for your service to our community. Thank you, Carol. That was nice. Thank you very much for attending this evening, too, to wish Carol a great retirement. Next on my agenda is number 2, is a request for approval to allow the village attorney to draft an ordinance creating 2 Class A liquor licenses from the existing number of 14 licenses, not to exceed 16 licenses. These will be dedicated to the businesses owned by George Pappas, located at 12205 South Pulaski Road, and Maysoon and Isa Fakori, located at 12300 South Cicero, Unit B. Number 3 is approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages and Liquor Control, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Division 2, License, Section 4-67, Location of Place of Sale of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip. And that's all I have. Clerk's report.
Thank you, Mayor Ryan. I have the presentation of the minutes of the August 7th, 2017 Village Board meeting, the presentation of the minutes of the August 14th, 2017 committee meeting, the presentation of the minutes of the August 21st, 2017 Village Board meeting. Also have the acceptance of the IDOT motor fuel tax allotment for October 2017 in the amount of $42,594.29. And lastly, per board direction given on 11/6/2017, I have request the approval to amend the Village of Alsip salary ordinance and to include the position of office supervisor as recommended by the Board of Trustees. That's all, Mayor Ryan.
Thank you. Next, we have the attorney's report. Tonight, we have Mike Kankar with us.
No report, sir.
Thank you. Next, the engineer's report.
Nothing to report other than we're still working on the reports for the I-9 program, and we are still working on the payable engineering for 131st Street.
Okay. Well, can I ask you, are we all done with repaving right now, too?
For the fall, yes.
Okay.
Come back in the spring and address the issue.
And I appreciate the attention yourself and Mike Frater spent with the paving contractor, that we addressed a couple issues. They're going to come back later in the season. And we are going to withhold a little retention to make sure they do that, too?
Yeah, more than the normal retention.
Great. Okay. I thought they did a nice job, but again, we got them at the end of the season, and there could use some touch-up there, that's all. Okay, thank you. Public forum. Would anyone in the audience wish to address the board? No one? All right, thank you very much. Standing committee reports. We'll start with Finance. Trustee McGlowan.
I have a request for approval of a list of payroll dated November 10th, 2017, totaling $417,080.98. I also have a request for approval of accounts payable dated November 20th, 2017. From the recap, Corporate Fund, $720,510.33. Road and Bridge, $41,320.65. MFT, $35,987.62. Waterworks, $823,708.16. And Heritage 2, $20,778.64, for a grand total of all funds of $1,642,305.40. I also have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip approving Class 6B assessment status for the GC America Incorporated real estate located at 3821 West 123rd Street, Alsip, Illinois. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Next, Fire Committee. Trustee McGlowan.
I have a request to approve the monthly October 2017 NIFERS report. I also have a request to approve holiday pay in the amount of $42,944.16. A request to approve shift commander, assistant shift commander pay in the amount of $2,625. And finally, a request to approve and pay the educational stipend in the amount of $9,720. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Police Committee. Trustee McGrail.
I have a list of bills and timesheets for approval and acceptance of the monthly report for October, and a request for approval to post for a vacant full-time police department clerical position, and also request for approval to move the health department from the police department back to the building department. That's all that I have.
Public Works Committee. Trustee Juarez.
I have a request to approve timesheets, and also I would like to schedule a Public Works meeting for Monday, November 27th, 6:30.
Just file with the clerk's office. Okay.
Yes, November 27th, 6:30. Thank you.
Building Committee. Trustee Zelinski.
I have a list of bills and timesheets and the acceptance of monthly reports for September and October. That's all.
Thank you. Water and Sewer Report. Trustee Delzell.
The presentation of list of bills, the employee timesheets, and a request to purchase the water meters, the amount of $78,892. That's the regular program, and it has been budgeted for.
All right, thank you. License Committee. Trustee Juarez.
I have a presentation of a list of licenses dated November 3rd through November 15th, 2017. That's all.
The Economic Development Committee. Trustee Pierce.
Beyond tonight's economic development meeting, no report, Mayor.
Right, we had a meeting earlier, folks. We had a meeting at 6:30 tonight. Next on the list, Planning and Zoning Committee. Trustee Zelinski.
First, the acceptance for the Planning Commission to hold a public hearing on Wednesday, November 22nd, 2017, for the property located at 11540 South Central Avenue to rezone the property from I-2 Industrial to I-2 Special Use to allow truck parking and truck repairs. Second, I have a request for approval of an ordinance of the Village of Alsip granting a special use permit authorizing the sales and storage of trucks and trailers for the property located at 12500 South Cicero. Alsip, this includes the following provisions. First, the repair and maintenance of trucks, trailers, or any type of vehicle is strictly prohibited. There's no trucks or trailers to be stored on the property except those currently offered for sale on site. Third, the sale or storage of containers is strictly prohibited. Fourth, the sale of all tractors and trailers, including those sales which originate from the lease agreement, will indicate the Village of Alsip as the source of the sale for sales tax purposes. And last, all lighting will be directed away from the adjacent residential district. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Special committee reports. Village Properties, Trustee McGlowan.
No report.
Insurance Committee, Trustee McGrill.
I have no report, but an update from Kent Olivan on open enrollment.
For those employees and retirees under Medicare eligible age, the open enrollment begins tomorrow, 6 to 7 o'clock in this room, and then on the next day there is 3 open enrollment periods. I believe there's 6:30, 8:30, and 10:30 also in this room. So that's the beginning of the season for open enrollment. The due date, I believe, is December 8th in terms of any changes in enrollment.
Ken, can I ask, how was all the employees notified, just for the record?
They were notified via email. Then I sent it out to the departments. The departments were notified. Most of them put them in their inboxes. And then this year we also created posters to be put on bulletin boards around the worker areas, the bulletin boards for the workers.
That's fine. Just want to
notified in three different ways. In addition, a good portion of that material was also given in advance to the union reps for all 3 unions, so they may have also disseminated some of that information beforehand. This year we also gave additional information in that email about some of what is the changes coming. Some of the we have new offerings, so some of those new offerings were explained, as well as the new rates for the system. So we've given more information than we historically have.
Nice job. Thank you.
Thank you.
IT, Trustee Dalzell. I'm sorry, Ordinance Legislation, Trustee Pierce.
No report, Mayor.
IT, Trustee Dalzell.
No report.
Human Resources, Trustee McGrill.
Just information that a committee met to have the second round of interviews for the HR manager position, and the board will be going into closed session tonight to update the board of the whole.
Okay, thank you. Health and Pollution, Trustee Pierce.
No report, Mayor.
Traffic Safety, Trustee Dalzell.
No report, Mayor.
Trustee, just so you know, I'm not sure, but Mike, obviously that was your department. Did you put up no parking signs on 127th Street?
Started to install some of them with the construction going on with the school and still some additional signage that's going to have to go up. We're just waiting for them to finish. And then we're also waiting for an order of new signs and
Okay. So right now, for the board and the benefit of the public too, the south side of the street, right here at 122nd Street, we've deemed that no parking, and it really did help alleviate some congestion down that street. I noticed right away today and stuff then too. We noticed with parking on both sides of the street, sometimes it was hard to get trucks down those streets, and there was a lot of dodging back and forth and so forth. So starting with one side of the street for right now. All right. Thank you, Mike. Any presentations, petitions, or communications? I had a couple I wanted to share with the public real quick. Last week, Nick's Barbecue opened up, and we were glad to have them become a new member of our community. They assumed the property that used to be known as the Clearview Restaurant at 127th and Route 83. Some great food, and I'll tell you, we're lucky to have them become part of our community. It's a good business over there. Please keep in mind, December 2nd, there's a handful of craft shows in the community. Sertoma on December 2nd is going to have a craft show at their location at 127th and Pulaski. Stony Creek School will do the same on the same day. And Shepherd High School, Trustee McLaurin was telling me, it's supposed to be a big one, right?
Yep.
Like 100 and some vendors?
150 vendors, I believe.
Wow.
Are expected to
So,
be there.
should you be in the market for Christmas gifts, craft-wise, that's the places to hit, as well as the Park District featuring Santa Claus. That's still at the
Santa's
helicopter?
Landing is on December 2nd as well.
Same day with Santa's Landing, too, at the Park District at Apollo Park. And most importantly for me, I want to invite everyone to join us here at our board meeting December 4th. And I don't want to embarrass Mary Schmidt, but Mary, we think the world of you, and she's retiring. We'd like to recognize Mary Schmidt's retirement on December 4th. So please be here to help us say thank you to Mary Schmidt and the Chamber of Commerce. Next on the board, number 8 on our agenda, would you like to remove any items from the consent agenda?
Item L.
L like Larry.
Okay, we have item L. Any others?
Item H.
And G.
Who said that? Trustee McGrill? Okay. Okay. Any others? All right, thank you.
Make a motion to establish the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda. Informationally, letter D will now read $417,080.98. Letter E will now read $1,642,305.40. Letter I would become ordinance number 2017-11-3. Letter J would become ordinance number 2017-11-4. Again, roll call number 1 to establish the consent agenda. Trustee McGreal.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to establish.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
I'm sorry, Trustee McGrill, second. Roll call number 2 to approve the consent agenda as amended. Trustee McGrill.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Okay. Thank you. So, returning back to some of the items that were removed from the consent agenda. First one was letter G. This was an approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages and Liquor Control, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Division 2 License, Section 4-67, Location of Place of Sale of the Village Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip. That was removed by Trustee McGrill. Do you have a question?
No, I just like a separate vote, please.
All right.
Excuse my voice.
Could we get a motion, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
That's just the one changing
All right, we have a motion, and a second.
Roll call number 3 Approval of an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Alcoholic Beverages and Liquor Control, Article 2, Administration and Enforcement, Division 2, License, Section 4-67, Location of Place of Sale of the Municipal Code of the Village of Alsip. Trustee McGreal?
No.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Pierce?
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
No.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-2. This will now be known as ordinance number 2017-11-5.
All right, thank you. Next, letter H was removed. This will be the approval of an ordinance granting salary increases and establishing compensation for certain non-union employees and appointed officers of the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois. That was removed by Trustee Zelinski.
Mayor, I just wanted to change, you have under Section 14 a certain amount, and I believe that's going to Section 17, which is going to be established.
Right. On the actual ordinance, this would be recognized as section number 17, I believe, right? Yes.
Correct.
So
This would be-
Section 14 is going to be eliminated at this point?
Yes, that's the only amendment that was made to this. That stands. That's the way it always
I
was.
just wanted to make sure that Section 14 was removed. Or,
Why are we?
Why are you eliminating?
14.
Why would you eliminate it? Isn't
well, if it establishes an ordinance, then the next person that comes into this wouldn't make,
The same money.
but it wouldn't be the same responsibilities, wouldn't we have?
No, it'll be the same responsibility. That's inclusive of the job description. We haven't changed anything from the original
But I
job
thought the person
description.
that did this particular job now was doing other things as well.
They'll assume the same duties. Like right now, that person, and which you're referring to as my assistant, would still be assisting Public Works, Village Properties during the day, and be in my office in the afternoon.
So it would no longer just be your assistant. She would have, or he or she would have other duties as well.
The same that they do now.
Okay. Just wanted to be clear on that.
Voting on the one salary or this whole
We're
thing?
we're voting on 17.
Just 17.
Just including 17,
Well,
office
that's
supervisor.
the change.
That's the change.
That's a change.
Right.
Everything else is the same. Thank you.
Did that answer your questions,
Yeah,
Trustee
that did.
Zelinski?
Okay. Can I have a motion, please, in a second?
Motion to approve it.
Second.
Roll call number H to approval of an ordinance granting salary increases and establishing compensation for certain non-union employees and appointed officers of the Village of Alsip, Cook County, Illinois. Trustee McGrill.
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell.
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski.
Yes.
Trustee Juarez.
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-0. This will now be known as ordinance number 2017-11-6.
All right, thanks. Last, letter L was removed. This is a request for approval to allow the village attorney to draft an ordinance creating 2 Class A liquor licenses from the existing number of 14 licenses, not to exceed 16 licenses, dedicated to the businesses owned by George Pappas, located at 12205 South Pulaski, and Maysoon and Isa Fakori, located at 12300 South Cicero Avenue, Unit B. That was pulled by Trustee Pierce. Do you have a question?
I just want a separate vote on this.
I'm sorry, you want a separate vote? Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks. Can I get a motion, please, in a second?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so we have a second? Okay, so this motion will die for lack of a second. This request, I should say, will die for lack of a second.
Mayor, is there an issue with regards to having both at the same time? Is there one or the other that it's at issue here?
Great question, Trustee. The way it was proposed to me was that both parties were interested in purchasing properties that were adjacent to their existing properties. We had, and for the benefit of the public, we had both of these applicants make presentations to the board last Monday night at a committee meeting. Mr. Pappas, obviously his family operates the Pappas Restaurant on Pulaski, and his intent was to open a gaming cafe in a outside, when I say outside, in the strip mall location next to the Taco and Burrito King in the same strip mall. He felt that, like many gaming cafes, as well as the Fakoris say the same thing, people are more interested in indulging in video gaming as they would. In George's case, they have a nightclub, and rather than going to a nightclub, he felt better about establishing a gaming cafe. Something that I'd like the board to reconsider, or at least consider yet, too, is, well, I'm sorry, Trustee, to finish your question, too, is neither property has been purchased yet, so before they purchase the property, they want to know if a liquor license could be created. The village has no available liquor licenses to give, and as part of a prerequisite to get video gaming, you have to offer liquor in your establishment. You don't have to drink it, but it has to be offered per the state gaming laws. So, like I said, if there's one not available, the intent was to make a license available for these two establishments before they move forward with purchasing the properties. This way, at least they're doing their due diligence. They're not going to purchase these properties and not be able to complete their task of opening these particular businesses.
Mayor, is there an interest of the board to separate these matters for individual vote, or is what it is?
I think both came up simultaneously. I think they both had the same intent. Well, I'd like to, I can't speak for the applicants, but I know they both, I guess I could speak for, actually, the Fakoris are here. Ms. Fakori, would you like to, do you have a moment, please? Can you address the board to this? And thanks for being here tonight, too, Masoon. Could you please speak in that mic? You got to put it kind of close to your mouth.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead. As the trustee asked, was there...
I'm sorry, Mayor. My question was of the board. Is there an interest
I
of
apologize.
members of the board to address these individually, or are they satisfied with what's been done? That's all.
If I can have the floor, Mayor, I'll make a statement on my own behalf. Had this made it to a vote, I was going to vote no, but I was also willing to table this. I think that as a board, I think we need to have a broader discussion. We've discussed this about having a discussion of what we want this town to look like. Do we want a town, full of gaming cafes, numbers of liquor licenses for the express purpose of having video gaming? I just think it's premature to just hand them out. Just last month we had a gentleman that was just 100 yards away from this proposed site right here that we said, we really aren't ready to give that kind of license, yet this is a request for the same type of license. Your comment last week about major tenure in the village, that does count, but I agree. I have nothing against the Pappases, the Fakuris. They've been my neighbors for many years in the neighborhood, but the gentleman that owned the Fun Times Square that we wouldn't even consider, he's got major tenure in the village also. So I'm just pushing for a broader discussion of this board of what we want this village to look like. Do we want a cap on a number of these licenses? This isn't the first request. I mean, this is probably the fourth request in 4 meetings for this type of liquor license. So where does it end? We haven't started. We haven't given one yet. So I think that we should have that discussion of what's going to be our cap. What do we want the village to look like? That's just my take on it.
Understood. And so everyone knows, at last week's village board committee meeting, thanks, Mr. Fakori. I can help. Thank you very much for being here. I said to the board before these presentations were made that I would like to entertain the idea of asking the board to consider these couple of licenses for existing village business owners with tenure in this village. And moving forward, there was actually just three requests. There was these two that you're seeing tonight, and there's one more from another very good established business in town. As far as gaming cafes go, that's where I'd like to cap it, is at these three. As far as anything else, I think gaming would have to be a component of a new business, like if it was a restaurant or whatnot, because we don't control that. Actually, if somebody brought in a restaurant and they need a liquor license is one thing. The state controls the gaming licenses, so that would be on the state.
Well, and to Trustee Pierce's, the vote's been rendered, so at this point in time, it's moot. Certainly, at the next committee meeting, we can entertain the discussion, as Trustee Pierce has indicated, to talk about what that is going to look like in the future.
Absolutely. And one thing just trustees to keep in mind, and the public as well, too, while these components are being made available by the state of Illinois, video gaming, always keep this in mind. While we try to do everything we can to generate sales taxes or revenue to this village, we're still in a good position to be a recipient of which as well. When you look at the three surrounding towns around us, if you look at Oak Lawn, certainly they're a bigger community. Certainly they have more machines in their community, the video gaming machines. In the first 10 months of this year, they brought in $555,000. Crestwood brought in $332,000. Blue Island brought in $187,000, and Alsip brought in $194,000 in the first 10 months of this year. Add 2 months onto there, which would be approximately, if you use that same number, about $38,000. We just increased the gaming renewal fees annually by $30,000. So the village of Alsip would stand to garner almost $262,000 a year for doing what? What did we do to earn that money? Other than participate like all these other communities. And right now you've got communities like Orland Park looking to participate in this program, and Palos Heights, where some of their businesses want to leave because they don't offer these components. This is where we not just see opportunity, but we support business at the same time, and we're a recipient of some of that revenue per the state, the way the state has divvied that up. This is always, obviously, there's a better course of action than when we need additional funding is to look at everyone's property taxes. This takes more pressure off that. And it's something I think is important. And as far as I'm concerned, and the board makes the final decision as far as making the licenses available, I would cap the cafes at 3 more. In other words, these 2 and 1 more that I think is a very good business to support. Anything else has to be, these licenses would have to be a component of a larger business, like a restaurant or a bar or something like that. Should somebody bring one of these in? These are small businesses that generate respectable revenue to the village of Alsip. So please consider that. We can certainly come back to the table and talk about it again. This isn't a done deal, but for this evening, it's obviously, for lack of a second, we can't move this any further.
I just think we have to have that discussion. And Mayor, I did visit all of these locations in the last 2 days, and the 50-plus games that we have in town, we're barely sat at. So if we increase it to 500 games, is it going to draw more people to town, or the people that are actually, that 194,000 or whatever that number is, are they just going to move from place to place? I mean, because we're not filling the seats that we've got right now.
These are available properties. They're not being utilized, and there's an opportunity for the village to participate as well as these business owners.
I understand.
I
agree. I just think we should have the discussion.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I had asked that. Any unfinished business? Any new business? No new business. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to adjourn to closed session. We've got a couple of items that need to be discussed in closed session. I requested actually both of these. The first one is going to closed session to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2, Chapter 2, requested by, as I said, by myself. And the second was to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony on a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity pursuant to 5 ILCS/2, Chapter 1. Again, requested by myself. Can I get a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
And we'll take a roll.
First by trustee McLaughlin, and I'm sorry, who was the second?
Trustee Pierce?
Roll call number 5 to adjourn to closed session. Trustee McGreal?
Yes.
Trustee Dalzell?
Yes.
Trustee Pierce?
Yes.
Trustee Zelinski?
Yes.
Trustee Juarez?
Yes.
Trustee McLaughlin?
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn to executive session.
And then we had a third one requested by trustees McGreal
Same thing.
and Juarez?
Same thing.
Same? Thank you. Okay, so we can do both.
Correct.
All right, thank you for attending this evening, folks. Have a great evening.